the idea is that everyone will be so sick of that they'll turn to Lucifer and the Luciferian, the light bringer, the bringer of knowledge, the one that's going to help mankind ascend out of the darkness into this new age, this new revolutionary phoenix light of the new world order, where we don't have borders anymore. We don't have money anymore. We're not all divided by our differences or our property anymore. We all come together as one collective humanity under the rainbow light of pride and love and connectivity. But guided by the guiding lights of Lucifer.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Broadcasting Seeds. I am your host, Bennett, and today we have Paul Stobbs. I love this guy. So I'm just saying, Paul, welcome to Broadcasting Seeds. Tell everybody for those that don't know, tell them who you are, what you do, and where people can find you.
Sure, thanks for having me. It's good to be here. My name's Paul, and I run a YouTube channel called Understanding Conspiracy. There it is. You can't miss it. That's what the logo looks like. That's the image. And I've been doing this since 2014. I actually got a message today on my app saying, your channel's been around for 11 years or something like this. And I'm like, I thought it was 12. This is the 12th year, technically. It's March 2014 is when I started it. And I've kind of just been a scattershot conspiracy theorist for pretty much all that time. I did take 5 years off from 2018 to 2023 because my workplace at the time found my very controversial channel and decided I'm not. Paul, either you're a manager at Aldi or you're a YouTuber. You can't be both because you're managing people now, and if they find the channel, we're not going to be able to defend you when they get offended. I was like, okay, well, I have a lot of debt to pay off and student debt, and I've just got this gig, so I'm not going to lose it now. And in a moment of weakness, I did spend 5 years just pretending to be a supermarket manager. But I am a conspiracy theorist. That's what I am. That's who I am. I'm a Christian first and foremost, though, and I like to study out the occult and the truth wherever it leads. And that's what I came back to do in 2023, and that's what I do full time now. I do predominantly a lot of work, and this is what I'm known for, is a book called The Nephilim Look Like Clowns, which is here. If you've never seen this before, that's what it looks like. And that is actually based on a YouTube series I started in 2016 with the same name. And this is kind of my baby, my body of research, my magnum opus. This is the thing I've put my heart and soul into because it's something I believe I discovered and I've tried to expose ever since. And we can touch on that today, but that's something I'm quite well known for. But I also had a stint in about the 23 to 25 period where I was heavily involved with researching out and spreading and talking about and interviewing people and getting involved in the community of the Little Season, which is a working theory that's grown in popularity since then, which was started maybe a few years before I got involved by a few small channels in about 2020, 2019 period. And it's the idea that Christ has already reigned for 1,000 years and we're actually living in the time after that called the Little Season or the short season of Satan, or as we now like to say, the last season of Satan, to give it more of a positive spin. And right. I think you had JT on your channel to talk about that.
I love JT. He's a great guy.
Yeah. So he's a good friend of mine as well. I'm in a group chat with him as well. We're always sharing things on there. So I'm still very much a part of that. My work is on my channel for you to find in a playlist based on that, a year's worth of research. But I took a step back as like a leader. I wasn't really a leader. We know what I mean? As a forefront person pushing it because it got to the point where my channel kind of lost its focus. I was too heavily involved in just that, to the point where the ethos of my channel is and always has been and still is to this day. I want to see the content on YouTube that I didn't get to see in like the 2012, 2011 period, which was very over the top, over dramatic, poor quality, hard to share with loved ones, friends and family when you wanted to wake them up because it's too sensationalized. I wanted to make it more grounded, down to earth, chilled out, perhaps a little bit lighthearted, but still serious and grounded in the biblical perspective videos. And that's what I'd like to do. But when it comes to conspiracy theories, like I'm not here to focus on just one. There's plenty of channels already doing that on many topics. My channel is more of a collective place they can go to get information on any idea or any theory. And I think when it comes to understanding the little season, I did that. I've got my work. I love it. I believe it. It's there for you to find and understand if you want to understand it too, because that's what my channel is. Okay, so that's kind of, I had one of those moments where I have to go back to
understanding
source.
conspiracy.
Exactly, yeah. But to all my brothers and sisters out there still on the little season thing, good luck to you. Keep going, Godspeed. But for me, I'm just not one of those leading members anymore, in a sense. I don't make new content on it necessarily, but people ask me in podcasts, I talk about it. But I don't actively go out there to be the main guest to do the little season talk anymore. I did. I even talked to Eddie Bravo about it.
Gotcha.
He even shared my clip with Joe Rogan, believe it or not. And he very quickly pardoned me off and said, that's crazy, that's ridiculous. But I got there. My voice got there at least. So, I touched the sun for a second. I wasn't really, I wasn't in for that. I wasn't going for that.
Had your Icarus moment, right? And
I guess so, yeah.
Said, but I don't really want to get melted here.
It's not really that. I wasn't bothered necessarily.
No, I know what you're saying.
It was more of I need to shift my focus back for my channel's sake. And there was a weird element to it. I'm not going to lie. Things were getting a bit strange with the movement. Not the information, but the movement itself was getting more popular. And with that kind of attention and a surge of new members, it comes with it some bad actors, unfortunately. And things tend to get a little bit all over the place. And then next thing you know, I'm being accused of all sorts of things which just are not true, because people are naturally paranoid in the conspiracy community. So you make say one wrong thing or make one wrong move, and suddenly you're Satan himself, and then factions get caused. And me and my family were watching this, and we're like, we don't need this. We don't need this, there's no point.
Understand.
So it was one of those. Yeah. So that's my story in a way. I've kind of told my testimony many, many times on many podcast formats. But I am a born again Christian as of 2014. I come from the New Age background, psychedelic tripping background predominantly. I wasn't like a New Age, like dreadlocks, barefoot, aligning my chakras with Orgo and pyramid energy crystals or anything type of New Ager, but I was very much a consciousness, psychedelic exploring, Jungian, Gnostic, alchemical type,
Psychonaut.
Something like that, but I was always me, as you see here, talking the way I'm talking, and dressing the way I'm dressing. I was never into the colourful side of it, and the silly woo-woo side thing. I was sincerely looking for God. And I did find God through Jesus Christ. Thank God, and that's what I do today. And that's what I try and help people understand as well. Because I think one of the biggest issues I found is the conspiracy really is all about Jesus. It's about what he did. That's what the bottom of the conspiracy actually is. People, you can talk for hours about what the evil people are doing, but if you want to know why, it's because of Jesus. It's because of what he did. It ruined everything. And they're trying to scramble to regain that power and establish their own order on top of his, which they can't do, and they're going to fail miserably at. But that's why we have a conspiracy. And I think that I don't want people to waste time and get sucked into many lies and rabbit holes and belief systems which are going to not save them in the end and lead them nowhere and bear empty fruit. I want them to get to the point. So I always bring it back to Jesus with everything I do all the time, and because I don't want them wasting time. It's kind of like, look, you've just started your truth journey. You just woke up like a week ago or something. Or you've just you've gone through COVID and you woke up a few years ago or something. You know what I mean? And now you that Dunning-Kruger effect. You think you know it all and you're an expert right now, and you're riding high, telling everybody what to think and believe. And it's kind of, look, I've done that. I've crashed to the bottom, and I've slowly clawed my way back to being somewhat of a semi-professional on this matter. And I'm telling you now, as somebody who's done it, don't waste your time with all the Gnostic, alchemical, New Age bullshit. It's Jesus. Go straight to him. That's where the truth actually is. That's what really is going on. That's the reality we actually live in. And my job is to try and bridge that gap to a generation who cannot connect. They don't understand why Christianity matters anymore. And we are living in a world where the disconnect is getting bigger because of technology and the rest of it. So that's kind of my battle this day and age, to try and keep that going, and get people to realize why it matters, and how, as a lot of people would phrase it, like, how does some Middle Eastern Jew being nailed to a piece of wood 2,000 years ago have anything to do with my life now, and I know that's not what I believe, but that's literally how generations today view that kind of stuff. It's like, that's an outdated form of primitive belief system that makes no sense, and as you probably know, and your audience might already know, that's not the case at all. That's actually just so far from the truth. It's unbelievable. And it is unbelievable at first until you really hear it out and contextualize it within the conspiracy of the world and what's going on. And I think that's a good bridge. That's a good way to get to them. In many ways, my own work on the Nephilim clowns is really about spiritual warfare and demons and spiritual experiences. And again, it's a gospel trap. It's something as novel as the clown is what this generation needs to get interested, so I can start talking about biblical history to them, and it works. And people have told me, the premise got their attention, but they stayed for the biblical history story and they stayed for the truth of spiritual warfare. So that's my game. That's what I try and do. Find ways to bring people to Christ through the lens of conspiracy. And it's a mixed bag. I've had some successes, a lot of failures, but it's a hell of a journey, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So that's
awesome.
me. There you go.
Awesome. Where are you driving people? Like where do you want them to go?
Where do I want them to go?
Yeah, to see you.
What, in person?
No, like on like platform wise. Like YouTube.
Oh, I'm just on YouTube. I'm just on YouTube. Yeah,
just on YouTube.
I never really moved. I do have Rumble, but I never really. I don't upload.
Yeah,
on that.
I know. Rumble.
The interface is terrible. It's really
another
hard
thing to do. Yeah,
yeah.
But I just wondered because I want people to, go see where they can see you.
If you don't want to watch YouTube, I do everything I do, bar my interviews with other people. So anything I create originally goes on to all podcasting formats as well. If you're on Spotify, you'll get the video as well. Everywhere else will just be audio only. So you can get me on other platforms like that on the podcasting formats. If you prefer that format, I am there on Spotify. And it might be worth mentioning, I do have a podcast called The Truth of Therapy Sessions. And that is every Sunday evening. I record it live on YouTube, but the audio gets edited and chopped down and uploaded to podcast format after the fact. And I've done about 118 episodes of that now. It's been going for as long as I've been going. And it really is about coping and dealing with learning the truth. Because it's a journey. Nice. It's a terrifying journey. And it's a family losing, depressing, terrifying journey where you lose all your friends and family for most people. And it's kind of, how do you cope with this? How do you deal with this? How do you maybe avoid some pitfalls? What's the best methods to teach your loved ones, friends and family without losing them? And also dealing with the fact that some people are too far gone as well, and they're just not going to want to listen to you. And how can we break through that if possible? And it's a long conversation to have, but I feel like as somebody who went through it, I maybe I can help other people deal with what they're going through as well. Because it's a universal experience, waking up, realizing the truth of the reality we live in. It's the experience is identical for everybody. I've found it's pretty much the same process. So that's what my podcast is about. Yeah. Okay. So that's awesome. My podcast as well. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. So before you went down this rabbit hole, what, like growing up or even before, what was the thing that got you into this world of like high strangeness and conspiracy? Like what was the catalyst to that?
I've told the story of the logical steps of how I got there. When I really think about it, and this is just me thinking out loud, really, I've not fully hashed this thought out, but I do feel like, in a sense, I have always been this way, even as a child. It's not just something that suddenly happened to me one day. I've always been of a mind that didn't fit into the world. And I didn't get it. It didn't make sense. I always knew there was something wrong, even as a child. I was, while all the other kids were like forming these social groups and playing sports ball and whatever, and like you had like the girls watching them from the sides of the tracks while they play. And people they're worried about trivial things. I wasn't. I really wasn't. I really was just doing my own thing and learning instruments and painting and drawing and very much. But I had my friends and everything, but I was always the weird one of the group, the creative one, we'll call it, something like this. And I've always just had that kind of mind. I've always just been not interested in stuff that isn't interesting. Like I don't care about sports or drama of a personal kind or anything like this. I want to know what's going on. I want to know what is this stuff around me. I've always kind of been obsessed with the details, nature, insects, things like this, and as a child, I've always been of that inquisitive, curious, explorative, self-introspective person that I suppose is the perfect recipe to be who I am today as a conspiracy theorist, kind of hashing out these big ideas, these philosophical. So that's always been me growing up. But I did have my moments where I wrestled with the world. It's probably a good way to describe it. Where you go through these awkward stages, don't you, from childhood into teens, and you're trying to figure out who you are and where do you fit in. And like I said, I had this realization, like I don't fit in anywhere. I'm not one of these people who's gonna. I'm an artist. I've always been an artist. I've always painted and drawn things. I make music, and I play like 5 different instruments, and I'm only happy when I'm making something. So I went down that route. I went down the art student route through college and university and through high school, and in those early formative years, I was very much actually a staunch atheist. I wasn't raised religious. I didn't have a religious household. My dad was raised devout Catholic, but I think he kind of like just was sick of it when he was an adult and just never talked about it and didn't want to get involved with that ever again. But my grandma, who did live a few doors down from me because it's a small village, she was a devout Catholic, and I guess I always watched that as a child with like curiosity. But as a teenager, I was kind of like, this is ridiculous. What is she doing? Why did she do this type of thing? Thinking I'm cool and edgy, only idiots wwho are scared of death believing some kind of sky daddy. Very much the cringy atheist type, the stereotypical cringy atheist type. And it's because I was raised a-religious. It just wasn't a thought. It really wasn't a thought. I was very much of the world and quite worldly in my worldview at that time, because I knew again. I had this underlying current though, like something's wrong and I don't understand it, but the science will explain it or something. You kind of have this. You're looking for methods to explain existence, and science was my method at the time. And scientifically speaking, it's implausible for there to be a supernatural deity. I went down that route, and I had friends who kind of encouraged that attitude as well. And I think you are some of the people you hang around with in many ways,
of course.
And that kind of was my influences. And at the same time, I had quite a hedonistic party group. So we were drinking on the weekends, and then we got into smoking weed at a young age, 15, 16. And I did become a weed smoker for a good 8 years of my life, from 16 to like 24. And, that's, you call it a gateway drug. In a way it is, kind of. It did lead to me exploring other things, in many ways. But I, while they were doing that for fun, I started to think, I want to, what is going on? Like, what are these things doing to me? What is changing exactly? How does this work? And then YouTube kind of was in its infancy at this stage. And there was many videos online of people doing Salvia, this psychedelic plant, Salvia divinorum. And you watch these videos, these people like howling like hyenas after they take this bong hit of some weird plant, and they would just lose their minds, and people were recording it. And I was like, what is that? What are they doing? What are they seeing? It got me. That curiosity got me. I'm not one of those people who can like not know. Do you know what I mean? Like I have to know.
I do. Yeah.
And I can only know through doing it. So we did, I managed to get some. And the scary thing is, at the time, it was legal. You could get this stuff at like what we call a head shop in the UK.
Yeah.
Which is a place that sells like bongs and pipes and ashtrays and rave paraphernalia and stuff like that, sheesh pipes, whatever. Like, and they had them there just behind the counter in like a bag. This Salvia divinorum, 40 times strength, and I was like, yeah, that's good enough for me. That's strong enough. Let's go for it. That's ridiculously strong. And we did it. Me and my friend, and I saw it. I went to some place that words fail to articulate, but I went through some kind of chrysanthemum flower type psychedelic portal into a place that made no sense to my worldview. It's kind of, this shouldn't exist. And I think, if I remember correctly, the only thing I managed to do was say no really loud, and then I went white and I was staring off into the void for 10 minutes, and then I just covered my face like this. And that was me for 10 minutes, trying to get back. I was terrified, but I was locked in this place for 10 minutes, And when I came back, I was like, what was that? That doesn't make sense. That shouldn't be there. That does not fit into my little atheistic teenage worldview. This is this is a spiritual situation I'm dealing with here, and I don't have the means to articulate or understand this right now. I don't get it, So I sat on it for a while and just kind of went through life thinking about it for a few years. I did it again a couple of times and kept interacting. I kept seeing things like this is paradigm shifting stuff, So I was no longer an atheist after that point. I'll say that. I don't know what I was by that point, but I definitely wasn't an atheist. I was like, no, something's happening. Something's going on, and we don't always see it. There's something else. There's a spirit dimension, So I really went on a serious journey of self-discovery then from the age of 17 onwards, up until again being born again in 2014 after university. So after leaving college and going to university, I was experimenting with psychedelics, LSD, anything I can get my hands on, and dimethyltryptamine as well, which is just as powerful, if not equal to Salvia, and I didn't realize this when doing Salvia at the time, but it's just as powerful as dimethyltryptamine. It's actually the same level, and I didn't know that. So it was a hell of a first psychedelic to do without realizing it,
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying the psychedelics made me or saved me. They didn't. They don't teach you anything, or they're not involved or have any interest or impact on kind of understanding the truth of spiritualism. They just show you some stuff and you've got to figure it out for yourself, So that's all it can really do. In itself, it teaches you nothing, and it's kind of you layer onto these experiences often your own biases, which I didn't want to do. I was really trying to understand these experiences clinically, psychologically, through a Jungian perspective. I was applying different methods to understand what is it? What am I looking at? Am I clearly just looking at the design of the universe here, the geometric forms, the patterns in all things when you do these drugs? And because as an artist, I drew these things, things like geometry, and tried to capture that vision in drawing form, and you just can't, you just can't do it. It's impossible because it's way more than us in terms of our basic two-dimensional ability to make flat images on screens and paper. It can't be translated,
right.
We are,
For sure.
I think people don't realize, this is a good way of saying it, but we are multidimensional beings, but we're living in the third dimension, or the fourth dimension, shall we say, but we have this third dimensional property to us, which is length, width, and depth. But you don't realize this. You can only see in the 2 dimensions. You can't see in 3 dimensions.
Right.
You can only ever see a flat thing in front of you at any moment. Our brain fills in the rest and makes it look like there's depth, but really it's a flat image. Everything's a flat image from your perspective. And it's kind of, you realize this multidimensional perspective only because you do things like psychedelics. You start to see this stuff and it's kind of, wow, and I made my artwork about it for many years at university while doing these drugs, and also exploring the New Age perspective, Taoism as well, and Buddhism and Eastern philosophies, because I was looking for God by this point. I was like, there's clearly a creator. I can't deny it, but who? What's making this? How? And I fell into the first thing people without a Christian background fall into, and that's you look to the East for answers. It can't be Christianity. Can't be that. It has to be somewhere else.
That's just crazy talk.
You just have this, it's crazy talk to think it's got to be Christ, So I just didn't look there.
Spooky father figure in the sky. I don't know what that's all about.
It's the last place you look, So I went the other way, and I started going down these ideas that, well, maybe we're all God collectively or something, and we're all like consciousness, and God has just put himself into loads of vessels who have forgotten that they're God, so we can experience what it's like to not be God for a little bit, or something like this. But when you die, you go back to the source of all consciousness, which is God. So we're all God collectively. And I was like, okay, maybe, and I've rolled with it for a while, but it never quite, I never quite got it, I was like, I'm a god, I'm God. Are you serious? My life is falling apart, you know what I mean? Right. It's kind of like, I don't think I have that kind of ability or power.
Bills. What do you mean, God?
Yeah, there's that too, and I understood the philosophy and the reasonings behind it, but I was like, I don't think it actually, practically speaking, is useful or even true. because it doesn't actually make your life any better knowing that kind of angle or believing that kind of stuff. In fact, it tangibly makes it worse. So what happened in about 2011, 2012, I was just starting my university degree, and then I fell into conspiracy theories because the end of the world was about to happen with the 2012 Mayan calendar coming to an end. If you remember that time period, everyone thought, "Oh, the end of this calendar means there's going to be a great reset, or we're entering the age of Aquarius, or there's going to be a fifth dimensional evolutionary process where everyone's third eye is going to open, or something, or the poles are going to shift, and there's going to be an energy shift, and all the power's going to go out."
They had that wonderful movie that John Cusack made, 2012, and everyone's
2012, like, yeah. Or The Day After Tomorrow as well, which is the same thing, you know. Like, they were really pushing it in the programming. They were really pushing it, you know, and it sucked me in. I was like, all right, then, what are these people seeing that's making them think this is going to happen? Here we go, you know. And I went into it, and I was like, one thing after another. Then I was just one rabbit hole after another, and I fell into the secret societies, the occult, Luciferianism, the Satanism, the banking cartels, you know, everything you could imagine. I went into it hard, deep, you know, and I really just started absorbing everything over like a 3-month period without seeing the world. And as an artist doing an art degree, that's what my work became about. Like, it was my subject matter. I started making artwork about this, but I was also blending it with this psychedelic stuff I was doing and this search for meaning. And I realized, you know, throughout all this, I tried to explain it all as psychological at first. And why do people believe in conspiracy theories, you know? And it's kind of like, they have a lot of good information, but the way they present it is just so fantastical. And it's kind of what's really, I was trying to explain, like, it to myself, like, is this real? Is this really happening? Or are these people crazy? And I realized, no, these people aren't crazy. They're actually true. Like, they give me real information. Like, this is actually happening. The secret societies aren't even hiding it in their writings that they're doing this to us. It's blatantly out in the open if you pay attention. They really are programming us through television before events happen. They really did put 9/11 in everything before it happened, up to many, many years beforehand. Like, showing planes destroying the towers with 9/11 all over the place. You know, like, this is a real thing. But the people making the videos are just not believable. It can't be real because the people presenting it are crazy. You know what I mean? And that's when I got into the whole controlled opposition idea, looking at people like David Icke and Alex Jones, and it's kind of like, if the truth is real, they are not doing it any service. You know what I mean? They are definitely turning people. And I get into this, I start getting like the psychology of conspiracy and like the methods they use, and psychology was always a fascination of mine. So I was kind of explaining like the psychological warfare aspect of it all. I could really understand how it was working. But at the same time, I was trying to grapple with the spiritual angle as well, like trying to figure it out. Like, I know there's a spiritual element to existence, and it seems like the people controlling us do too, and they're using it against us. And then a lot of New Agers had their answers for this. It's like the Archons using us as an energetic battery or something like this. So it's an endless soul cycle of death and reincarnation for the demiurge and all these ideas. And I was like, okay, maybe, but then you believe that kind of stuff. You become a nihilist. It's useless. It makes you weaker in the long run to believe such a thing.
Like, so much of that is just like, maybe. And then you're like, oh, yeah, it's all distraction.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like the Gnostics didn't have a solution. It's just you're gonna die and it's misery and hell and deal with it, and it's kind of okay or whatever. You've got to unlock your own Christ consciousness and become God to free yourself from the God trap, you know. And it's kind of okay. No, that's just Buddhism or Taoism with extra steps. It's the same thing, you know what I mean? You've got to reach this form of being an enlightened godlike being, or else you're trapped here forever, you know. And it's like, no, I don't think that's the case. I really don't. And if these people ruling the world believe in Satan, I better start taking seriously the opposite. You know, it got to me like that. Like, that was really the methodology that got me to start really thinking about Christianity in a serious way, because I could see in the Truther movement there was the New Age side, and then there was the Christian side. There's factions within even the conspiracy culture, you know. And then you had like the a-religious conspiracy theorists who really fell into the liberal, anonymous, we are legion types against the alt-right, libertarian, don't tread on me types, you know, and they're kind of out of the religious debate. But then within that, you had the Christians versus the New Age, and they were all kind of not really communicating with each other in their own echo chambers. And they were all sharing the same information, but had their own spin on it all, And I kept bumping into the Christian perspective. And I didn't want to believe it, I was like, no. But they kept giving really solid answers. They kept coming back to this idea, like, this is why the evil people are doing this, like, because of Christ. Like, this is why they are anti-Christ. This is why everything they do is a spit in the face of God specifically, with a method behind it, And it's like, the reason they want you is because you're made in the image of God. It's that simple. And then when you bring in the demon aspect, and the parasite within the machine that's also affecting us, and the hierarchy of the system against us, and the spiritual side of the warfare, which the Bible starts explaining through things like the book of Enoch, and even in like just the Bible itself, Christ tells you about it, like when he's casting demons out of people, and you start to realize, oh, there's another battle here that we're not talking about, which is not human. It's beyond the physical realm, and it is something spiritual. There's some kind of enemy that we are contending with regularly, who wants to kill us, that we can't see. Like, this is really bad, And eventually it clicked, and I was sitting with it all for a while, and I kind of came to the end of my degree, and I had all this knowledge, all this information. I had this YouTube channel as a result, because that's what my work became about, and I tried to tell people about the conspiracy at the end of my degree, and I'd made theses on it, my dissertation on occult symbolism in 21st century media and the rest of it, and I'd sat there for like 3 hours in a gallery talking about conspiracies with people, trying to communicate it to them and get them to believe it, testing ways to speak to people, and I had this channel as a result, and I just didn't know what to do in my life. I was like, what am I doing now? What am I supposed to do? Like, really, And I kind of got down on my knees, broken, and kind of burnt out from all the experimentation I'd put my body through, and with no direction, no purpose, no meaning, no answers, lost. And I kind of just asked God, okay, God, if you're real, if this is what's going on, then fine. Help me. I'm yours. If that's the case, help me, because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing next. And from that day forward, things were very different. Very, very different for me. If I had a bath, and I shot about the bath after going under the water, because I had this feeling happen. So I think I accidentally baptized myself. I didn't realize I was doing that. There was no intention, but I think something about the water definitely did something. So I do believe in baptism. I think it's an important part of the process. I don't know why exactly, but I think it's something to do with the cleansing. Spiritually speaking, I think it has effects in the spiritual world as well as the physical. I don't think it's simply just a symbolic gesture. I think there's power behind it, clearly. Only through personal experience am I saying that as well, because I know some people would say that's just not the case, but I think it is the case. I think it's a necessary part of the method to being born again. Only because after my experience that day, I did have a different desire within my heart to do things differently. Like, I didn't want to smoke anymore. I didn't want to do cannabis anymore. I didn't want to drink or chase after the things anymore that I used to chase after. I was quite literally a born again new creature I wouldn't even recognize, like I would smoke a cigarette and I'd have this guilt I've never felt before, and this voice telling me, like, what are you doing? Stop it. This is not what I want for you. This is not what I have in store for you. Like, this is not you. This is what the world told you are. And I started to realize, it's kind of like, who am I if I'm not the guy who smokes weed every day? Everyone knows me as that person. That's my identity is wrapped in that person.
Yeah.
If I let all these things go, I have to start again. I don't know who I am. I need to find out who I am. I need to build something. And I had to go through that process for years, and dropping away all these old habits and really isolating myself, getting into the word and really understanding, like, who am I in the image of God? Who did he make me to be? Who am I really? Not who is the world told me I am and who I've conformed to being, but who am I really? And I'm still going through that journey today. It's been 10 years, more so. It's been 12 years. And I'm still every day learning something new, but who I was then to who I am now is not the same person. It's a different entity. It's a different human, it's something else. And that's been my journey ever since. And like I said, I explained in between what I did then. I started this channel. I started my Nephilim Look Like Clown series. I got big for that. And I reached bigger audiences, networked with the truther community, made the content I want to see. I wrote the book and I got involved and spearheaded a brand new movement into the little season. And I've come out of that back to the second book now. And I'm now a known in the truther community. And I really did manifest what I set out to do in the beginning, which was understand the conspiracy and communicate it effectively to people who need to hear it, but also become a part of the movement, a known face in that movement. I guess God did have a plan, and I think he's used me ever since to spread the gospel.
Absolutely.
In a way that's relatable to people. And even I can't believe that's my job today. Like, this is what I do for a living, quite literally.
I think people really need to understand too many people don't, that you're participating in the spiritual system, whether you like it or not. And that's just how it is. Sorry, guys. I mean, you don't have to participate, but it's gonna affect you regardless, right?
Oh yeah.
And so many people wake up to this stuff and frankly spiral into anxiety. So what do you tell those people?
The people who do wake up and spiral?
Yeah, and spiral into anxiety because it's a lot. Like, this is so much to deal with.
The first thing, yeah, you're right. It is. I get it. The first thing I say is I understand. I do. You have every right to be scared and angry, and you want to do something. I get it. You want to save the world, and you have justifiably, you are not insane. You are justifiably angry. Okay. And then the next thing I'd say is, but calm down. You're not going to save the world. Calm down. Okay. It's not on you to save the world. It's not on you. Christ has already done that. Okay. It's already done. The work is done. Okay. You can waste your time now if you are obsessing over the minutiae details of the conspiracy. And it's handy to know that stuff. But knowing that stuff alone is not what's really important. And what's really important is getting to grips with the spiritual war that we're actually under and the solutions to that spiritual war. And it comes with getting right with God and getting to know Jesus. So that's the first thing I would say to them. Just get it out of the way. And then they say, absolutely not, that's ridiculous. I'm going to fight. And they'll push back. But that doesn't matter. All I did was plant a seed. That's the first thing I would do. Plant that seed. So when they do hit a brick wall and inevitably reach the dead end that they're going to hit fighting, they can remember what was said to them and come back. Okay. So that's the first thing I would do. That's the first thing I would say. Calm down. And then I have a whole Tips for Truthers series, if you want to go any further, which is dedicated to kind of giving hints and tips to all of this. I mean, if I could probably tell you a few of them now, I could get it up on my phone.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the first things I would say is, okay, be careful who you tell. You know some stuff now, right?
Yeah.
You figured some stuff out. You've seen through the veil. You're finally seeing reality for what it really is. Okay. And now you need to shut your mouth. You need to be careful now who you're going to choose to tell who you know, like what you know. You need to be very selective. You can't just go around saying it to anybody and everybody.
It's just verbal diarrhea everywhere. Can't have that.
No, and it's not going to help. It's not going to wake people up. It's actually going to do you a huge disservice in the long run, like a massive disservice, because what you're going to do is you're going to create a public image of who you are, and that will follow you everywhere. You might not be able to even get a job, or you might get fired from your work if you're not careful about who and when you're going to say these things to. And that's why my first advice is you're not going to save the world. Calm down. Calm down. You might no longer see yourself a part of the world, but you're still in the world. This is what Paul was telling people, okay? Like, you're in the world, but you're not of the world, but you're still in it. You still have a life to live here. You still have bills to pay. You've got a family to look after. You've got people relying on you. And God gave you to have a life, not to waste it, okay? And if you live in fear and you go out there screaming things from the rooftop, which are completely pointless and devoid of meaning and irrelevant in the long run anyway, like, I don't know, the Illuminati did 9/11 or something, whatever you've come across, you know what I mean? Monsanto's poisoning the food, like whatever it is, whatever your thing is, look at the lines in the sky. Okay, whatever your your point is, it's kind of, okay, yes, but there's always this but to it, okay? It's kind of screaming that out loud right now is not going to change it, and it's actually going to make your life objectively worse, because the people around you are going to react to what you just did, and it will not have a good effect in the long term. In fact, what you're going to do is burn so many bridges, and people are going to leave you so fast, you'll be weaker for it in the world, because you are only, it's not what you know, it's who you know, unfortunately. So that's why you have to start to be careful now about who you tell them when. There's a time and a place, and the work break room is not that place all the time. That's my warning to people. And also, not everybody is your friend. Okay, there may be people in your workplace, and this is the thing they were waiting for to use against you. Okay, not everybody is your friend. In fact, in this world, you do have an enemy, a real, tangible, spiritual enemy who works through people. Okay, and if don't give them the ammunition to shoot you in the head. Don't give them the means to that end, okay? Because they will take it. There are bad people in this world, narcissists, psychopaths in this world, and the world is not kind to truthers. Okay, so shut up. That's the first bit of advice. You know some things, keep it to yourself for now. Okay, what you need to start doing is building a life where you can create for yourself the freedom to say those things. And you're not going to be able to get there so easily if you burn too many bridges too quickly. Okay, so now you need to find a way out of the system quietly. Never tell the devil your plans. Okay, never let them know what your next step is, because there will be people who will work against you to prevent you from getting to those goals. If your vision of freedom comes with having land to grow your own food and raise livestock and disconnect from the grid, then start doing it now. Start saving the money you're earning within the world to build that world that you see yourself, where you're free and can say what you want without people cutting off your food supply, or which is money, basically. You know, your job. You know, whatever that is. Like, just don't be careful. Be so careful. This is what, but I understand, and I'm empathetic with the desire to scream from the rooftops to your loved ones, friends, and family what's going on. You want to help them. Now, this is where the big problem comes in. The truth is actually a weapon. Okay? It's dangerously powerful. It's a very sharp sword. It's a high ballistic ammunition rifle. Okay? Like, it's not just like a 22 plinker or something like this, or like a throwing axe. It can obliterate people very easily. Okay? It's one of these type of things. And people don't like it when you brandish weapons in their face. The first thing they do is get defensive or even shoot back. Okay? You have to treat the truth like that. You are holding and brandishing the sword of truth. Okay? A weapon. Do not just go throwing it around. Okay? Because people will see it as a threat to their preconceived notions about reality. And they're not going to be thankful you've kicked down their door and you're waving a rifle in their face. Okay? They're not going to be happy that you've burst their bubble with your high caliber rounds. Okay? They're going to see it as an act of aggression, an act of war, and people are not afraid to bring the full force of the system against you to prevent that happening. Okay? Because you're a risk to other people as well.
Yeah,
and it's up to them
sure.
to bring you down before it's too late. And that's how you get sectioned and put in insane asylums or locked away or something, or again, ostracized, lose your friends and family, isolated, and the rest of it. Treat the truth like an extremely delicate wad of C4. All right? Or really old TNT. Don't just be extremely delicate with that thing. All right? It's not something to play around with. It really isn't.
Right.
And because people are too in it, people are too far in it, and they are actually happy believing the lie. And you are ruining their illusions that they're comfortable in. Okay, and people do not like their comforts being taken away from them. And this is why you have to be careful who you tell in time and place. Time and place. I'm serious. Choose it extremely wisely, because this is the other sad truth. You can't wake people up. Jesus does that, not you. Okay, you're actually not waking people up. This is why my channel, it's the Truth of Therapy sessions. So people have already woken up. because I had nothing to do with it, and I'm not in the game of waking people up. I'm in the game of helping people who have woken up come to terms with it. There's a difference, and this is what I want to bring people to Christ, but all I can do is tell them about him. I can't make them believe.
Correct.
I don't make people believe that. God does that in their time after the experiences necessary in their life happen for them to actually understand what it is and why it applies to them. And maybe they have to hit rock bottom. Maybe they have to go through some horrible trials and tribulations first to get it. And that's on their journey between them and God. But all we can do is tell them. And it's the same thing with the truth as well. You are not saving people or telling them the truth. Nobody wants to know this stuff unless they want to know it. You can tell them as much as you want, and it will always go on deaf ears unless they have made the conscious choice in their own minds and souls and hearts to say, I want to know. If they haven't done that, it's a waste of time. It's not getting in, which is why I'm saying, shut up.
Just shut your mouth.
Be very careful who you're going to talk to. Be very careful, because not everyone's your friend.
Yeah.
The world is
and
just waiting.
You open doors.
Yeah.
It just happens. Like you're highlighting yourself, especially like with stuff like what we do. You're just putting a bullseye. If you're not ready for it, you just will fail. It's just one of those things. I don't think people understand getting into this type of disclosure to an extent. And that's what I'll call it. And waking people up makes you a target for sure,
Oh yeah.
So
hands down. It's honestly, it's dangerous. It's really dangerous.
It is.
So there's some advice I've got for people to just calm down, keep it to yourself, and start working on finding a way to get out quietly. And then once you get yourself get self-employed, find a way to make money independent of other people. First of all. Yeah. It's sad, but you need money in this world, whether you like it or not. Yes, render unto Caesar what Caesar's, but at the same time, feed your family. Okay, sort that out first. Priorities, all right? Yeah, priorities. Get a roof over your head, but find a way to be self-sufficient at least. I like I said, I had to quit my job as a supermarket manager because I couldn't pretend anymore, and I asked God to help me. And my wife played a huge role in helping me have the courage to do that. She even said, "Just quit your job. Let's do this. We'll be fine. It will all work out." And we became photographers, wedding photographers. We had the equipment, so we just did it. And guess what? We got gigs that supported us for a year. And then by that point, the gigs stopped coming, but the channel set off again. And the ad revenue came in, and then I wrote the book, and the book sales came in, and now I'm self-sufficient, and I'm free. And it's because I took that leap of faith to do that, But not everyone can just take a leap of faith. I think luck is the wrong word, because I think God's in control. But at the same time, my story is not indicative of how yours is going to go. So don't take me as an example of what to do, But what I'm saying is it can be done. It can be done. But your method might not be becoming a full-blown internet conspiracy theorist, or whatever. Maybe there's other things you can do.
It's not a
in the
job
world.
title that's for everyone, for sure.
But what I did is I had a set of skills I needed to apply who are intrinsically part of me. I'm an artist. I'm a creative person. I'm a speaker. I'm a writer. So I apply that what I'm good at, the gifts God gave me, and I use them, and it works. So if you have a skill, there's something you're passionate about, pursue it independently. Okay, you might have to work with somebody in that field for a while to get references, but then at the same time, once you get the knowledge and you can go on your own, become self-employed. It's the only real way in this world. You're gonna be truly free enough to be who you want to be and not live that kind of lie where you're kind of pretending to be something you're not, which I know is a horrible feeling. I've done it, and I know it's what everyone craves to be, but again, this is just the best I can give in terms of advice to get there. Just have a target and aim for it and go, because life is short as well. You've only got so long, and realistically, what have you got to lose as long as you kept your mouth shut? You could always go back to finding a job with somebody else as long as you didn't burn any bridges and didn't let anybody know what your real thoughts are. It's kind of, which is why I'm saying don't burn bridges, don't do that, because you need to be set in a place where you can be the one saying these things before. So while you're in between, go on forums, Go to the comment sections on channels like mine. Join my Telegram where we're all there as a community sharing stuff with each other. Stay clued in. Get a fellowship in private behind closed doors with other believers. But don't bring it into your day-to-day life. I'm serious. Like, and if people don't want to hear this, they think I'm trying to like silence the truth or something. And I'm like, look, a prophet is not welcomed in his own home.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, there's no point. It's a waste of time. It is like in person. They're not going to listen to it from you, the guy they've grown up with. They're not going to listen to it. Okay. You need to, if they're going to know, they're going to find out on their own. Okay. And that's when you can start talking to them and having a friendship with them in real life and the rest of it. But you just don't do it. Like, I know it sounds counterintuitive. I know what it sounds like when I'm saying, when I'm serious. It's the best advice I can give you as somebody who's done all the mistakes and gone through the process. Like,
yeah, you have to be
really
very judicious with it and who you talk to about it. And yeah, because otherwise you're just spewing it all over and it's just not, it's not good. It's just not.
No.
But with everything that, all the research that you've done over the past 12 years, the little season, the clowns and the Nephilim and the occult and symbolism and all the things, right? Like right now, what do you think is coming next? Like what should people be watching for?
There's a few things that are on my radar now, which are culminating into like a big deal, I would say.
Yep.
But again, I'm always hesitant to make predictions.
Yeah,
because I've been wrong about many things in the past, you know, and I've never like put my whole weight in one thing and say this is definitely going to happen this way in the next 2 years.
Absolutely, what's going on?
Yeah, because last time I did that, I thought Hillary would win. You know what I mean? I thought there's no way they're going to let Trump win. It's going to be the status quo. Everything's going to continue. I was wrong. I was blatantly wrong, you know?
Yeah.
Like, because it seems like it's too perfect. The first female president, of course, they're going to let her win. That's exactly what they want for their agenda. But that's not what happened. But then as time has gone on, you know, I've realized there's been a long con here. And I think this is what it's culminated into. They're trying to foment a war right now, a big one. A really big war. We'll call it World War III. I know it sounds a bit like old hat to say this, but let me explain it to you a bit in a way you might not have really thought about before. This was written in Albert Pike's letter to Mazzini in about the 1800s, late 1800s, and it was only really discovered in like 1912, and it's disappeared now. And now everyone says it never existed. And it was a forgery. And it was a fake, but I don't think so because it's playing out exactly as written in that letter. I'm sorry, word for word. It is. It's playing exactly like a script. And so I think it's real. I think it did happen. Say what you want about it. It's still playing out that way. So let's pay attention to it. Okay. And they make it clear they're going to use the agent tour of the Illuminati, the secret society network, to foment a third world war by basically agitating the Christians of the West into submission by browbeating them and suppressing them with the communists and the nihilists and the atheists in the Western world. Okay, this is what they say they're going to do. And they're going to suppress Christianity under the thumb of what we call today social justice. That's the culmination of all those things: atheism, nihilism, liberalism, communism, socialism, all that type of stuff, Marxism and the rest of it, you know, coming under this liberal banner of love, light, peace, and pride. That's what he was talking about. And Christianity has been called bigoted, hatred, traditionalist, old-fashioned, useless, evil, you know, oppressive, patriarchy, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So we've been suppressed by that. And that's happened. Now, while that's happening, what we're going to do is use the Muslim world and the Zionist world, as they call it, to fight each other in the Middle East beyond exhaustion. But at the same time, we're going to pit the Muslims against everybody as well on all fronts to create a battle on all fronts. And along with, they don't say it, but along with this comes obviously with fomenting division on every front. So every border gets blended, every law gets turned on its head, all tradition is seen as old-fashioned and gets removed. Money becomes worthless, generations hate each other, men and women hate each other, mothers and parents and children hate each other. It's just one division after another, and they've definitely done that through social media. They've been working on that for a while. All the races hate each other, black versus white, whatever it is, you know. It's kind of there's one giant division on every single front. But the real thing that we need to look out for is this Middle Eastern situation. So and I say this not believing, I don't, you know what I think about the Little Seas? I don't think that is even the real place, to be honest. I think it's a place that was created in the modern world to foment and lay down the foundations for this war I'm talking about here. But the idea is you'll have political Zionism and Islam mutually destroy each other. That's the aim. But at the same time, Christianity will also fight in this war as well. So while they're mutually destroying each other, it says we're going to release the suppressed Christians. This is what the letters say. Christianity will be unrestrained from the nihilists and the atheists, and they are going to be emboldened to rise up and join the war between Islam, the Zionists, and Christianity. So basically, all the Abrahamic faiths, as they like to call them, as though they're all equal, which they're not, But that's what they're going to do. They're going to, they're going to basically get them all to kill each other in a horrible, brutal, bloody battle on every single front in Europe, in the Middle East, in America, even in the African nations. There's a huge divide down there as well in South Africa between the Boers, as they call them. You know what I mean? And Islam has quite a foothold in a lot of Africa too. So this front's on every front. But at the same time, it seems like not in Russia, not in China, not in Japan or these places. Maybe in Australia, the Anglosphere is what's really going to be attacked the most, it seems, because that's where the Christian nations are. So that's where this unfettered, incompatible migration's taken place on purpose to foment this situation, which will cause this bloody battle between these ideological faiths of Abrahamic religion. Okay. But this is this is all in the letter. The outcome of this war will be that every single nation gets dragged in because they're all treaties, defense, and everything, like ideologically too. All the Christian nations go and defend each other, and and it's kind of the political ideologues come and defend the Holy Lands, and the Zionists from the invading Muslim hordes and the rest of it. But then all of Islam will collectively come together as well. It'll be this massive battle that culminates in a ridiculous, bloody loss of life, like extensively in the most brutal, heinous ways we can imagine. And they've made this happen on purpose. So then everybody at the end of this war, completely disillusioned and exhausted beyond all their capacities, resources, and mental faculties, will basically have to look at themselves and say, what have we done? And look at what religion has caused. Look at what these religions have caused. Look at the mess, destruction, and bloody warfare for millennia this Abrahamic faith belief system has done to us. And this is what it's culminated into. The most meaningless, senseless loss of life ever seen on the earth. And that is when we will reintroduce to mankind's now lost deistic spirits to the true Luciferian doctrine. Okay, this is what Albert Pike says. Like, this is his words. Like, this is what he's writing in that letter. To Mazzini, like, this is how we're going to do it, and this is what the result will be. We'll make them so exasperated with Adonai and his stupid religion. Okay, that's what because they think they're equal with Satan and Lucifer, and they call him Adonai versus Lucifer. Both are God and all this type of thing. That this whole Freemasonic nonsense worldview. And the idea is that everyone will be so sick of that they'll turn to Lucifer. And the Luciferian, the light bringer, the bringer of knowledge, the one that's going to help mankind ascend out of the darkness into this new age, this new revolutionary phoenix light of the New World Order, where we don't have borders anymore. We don't have money anymore. We're not all divided by our differences or our property anymore. We all come together as one collective humanity under the rainbow light of pride and love and connectivity, but guided by the guiding lights of Lucifer, and find that. But the only way we can get people there first is to have this horrible war. And it's likely the war, this is my speculation, will be ended by aliens suddenly turning up.
Yeah, right.
And it's going to make us all drop our guns and look up and go, my, how small our differences seem in light of this new common threat, this new enemy, And it's kind of like the aliens say, oh, no, we're not your enemy. We're here to help mankind not destroy themselves because we want you to join our galactic federation or something like that. But before you get there, you need to know the truth. All the religions kind of had it a little bit right, but really you're all worshipping the wrong God. It was just one guy. It's just kind of like, this is where the universalist one world religion starts being spread by these intergalactic brothers and sisters from another galaxy or something. But really, this is just Satan playing out his last plan here. This is his last final ditch effort, to establish his own order, his own kingdom, his own millennial reign. And I imagine so. And I also imagine that there will be a common enemy that suddenly appears. Aliens, bad aliens will suddenly appear. And the good aliens will say, we need to get you advanced enough to defend yourself up against this invading enemy that's coming. And when the invading enemy finally comes, we'll be ready,
Yeah.
and all humanity comes together.
The bad aliens actually Jesus and angels?
Well, I think the only thing we have close to a mothership descending from heaven is New Jerusalem coming down from heaven.
Yeah. It's a great point. No, it's an amazing theory, right? Or whatever. But it makes sense. It's a theory. Actually, it's a theory, but it has basis to it. It's not like it's just
there's a roadmap.
Yeah,
that letter is a roadmap, and we're about 3/4 of the way through it.
I mean, let's be honest. Throughout all of history, they tell us exactly what they're going to do. It's like they have to, right? So why wouldn't this be any different? Duh.
Yeah. But then on another front, there is the AI nanotechnology situation we have to deal with too. So while all that's happening, there's going to be these huge developments, technological leaps happening in the next 5 years alone, probably even a decade. The world's not going to be the same. Something's going to change drastically. People will fundamentally be the same, but the world will not. The way it functions won't be the same anymore. Because automation and advancements in technology are going to possibly tear apart the very fabric of reality itself from the seams from what they're doing with nanotechnology. We might have programmable matter in our lifetime very soon, which is a game changer because it basically means anything can morph into anything. We'll have shapeshifters in a very physical sense. We'll have it's going to get weird. It's going to get really weird is what I'm trying to say. And it's going to get to a point where we
Sorry, go ahead. No, you finish. Go ahead.
I'm just going to say it's going to get to a point which we're already seeing with AI. What is and isn't real.
Oh, yeah.
Confusion at its highest form. And that sets the perfect foundation for faking an alien invasion or projecting anything in the sky, especially through nanoparticle dust that could form to make any shape it wants. And this type of thing, it's going to get a very... we can't trust our senses type of situation, which leads to confusion, which leads to deception, which leads to control. And I do think nanotechnology is something we need to keep our eyes on in a big way. While everyone's worried about AI, look over there, Yeah.
Some crazy stuff. I just did an interview with a guy yesterday who, and they've dubbed this stuff as what they call soul tech. And it's actually a program where it's a real AI program, and it's called Reflecta, and you can actually set it up and talk to your ancestors, like people that have passed away. Like you basically load it up with your parameters and like love letters and all the things that you have, pictures and memories and all these things. And they have a biographer go through it with you and this and that and the other thing. And then you can literally have conversations with your passed away loved ones.
I'm looking at it now. Yeah, that's, I mean, what they're doing with AI is actually, that's scary enough. First of all, resurrecting the dead, so-called.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like that's like some uncanny valley shit to me. It just makes people very uncomfortable.
I agree. I agree. It's crossing a line, isn't it? It's crossing a line. I mean, it's not only that. It
could be
relationships as well. You'll find. Yeah. People are relying on things like ChatGPT to be their boyfriends or girlfriends.
And to be their therapists.
And the rest of it, yeah. And that really, that's scary, And this is the sad thing. It's kind of like we kind of already had that in Jesus, in a way.
And the Holy Spirit. I mean, he's my counselor. Yeah. I'm just saying frankly, that's kind of the purpose. So I'm just,
It's a counselor that won't stroke your ego as well.
Yeah.
Which is what AI does,
lays it out there. So
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say what gives you hope right now? like beyond, because we've got to wrap things up a little bit here. So I want to get to a point where it's what gives you hope right now, even with everything you've researched, where's your hope?
Well, my hope is in that God is in control fundamentally, and for as much as these people have plans, they're just men, and man makes plans, but God laughs. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
I'm totally worried about it in the sense of that they're going to succeed, because I think they've already lost.
Yeah,
I think they have a lot of ideas. They've got a lot of scary stuff in the works.
of
But
course.
whether any of it will actually come to fruition is completely up in the air. And it's up to us as well, fundamentally, whether we accept it or not. Because a lot of the power is smoke and mirrors. A lot of it is us believing in it or listening to them. That's the problem. Like they can only control us in so much as we believe the thing they showed us on that screen. If you just turn it off, they got nothing. They don't have a means to get to you.
They only have the power that God's given them. So at the end of the day,
too.
Yeah. If
The
you
Book of Job explains that to you. Like Satan has as much pull as God has given to him on his leash. He's completely within his control and his boundaries.
I think people need to understand their authority, and if they don't,
absolutely,
then they're going to struggle. So
a good phrase which is popular in my group is know your authority or no authority. It's simple. And it's true because as Christians, we are not called to be fearful of the ways of the world and the kings of the world and what they can do to us in this world, because our kingdom is not of this world. Our kingdom is of heaven. We are subject to the King of heaven. We are not citizens of Babylon on earth. And if we can walk as kings and as subjects to the king on earth here right now, we are members of that kingdom and act like it. Acts like it, stand up and tell the truth. Absolutely. And call out nonsense when it's there and present, and don't do nothing when bad people do bad things around you. Stand apart from the world. Love people. That's radical in this world. I've lived here long enough to realize now that everybody's out for themselves and nobody really loves each other. Okay. But Christians are called to actually love people. And you know what that means? That means loving the people you don't want to.
Yeah. Even your enemies. It says it right in the Bible.
Exactly. And that's radical. I mean, God so loved the world. And by that, he means us, the sinners, the people who have wronged him, the ones who have spat in his face, rejected him, laughed at him, killed his son, still loves them. Okay? We have to do the same. Because if we don't, it will get worse here on earth. It will get far, far worse. Because if a wretched sinner can know forgiveness, they can change. And we are here as vessels to show them forgiveness and what that means and what that feels like. And with forgiveness can come repentance. It's simple. With repentance comes a saved soul.
Simple, but not easy.
No, I never said it was easy.
Yeah, but I'm just saying simple, but not easy.
It's scary, but have no fear. I mean, this is the other sad thing. Look, Jesus never said you wouldn't die. And a lot of Christians, I don't think, are really understand or ready for that. A lot of them are banking on the whole "I'm going to get whipped into the clouds. I'd have to deal with all the horrible punishment and the rest of it, But I'm out of that kind of world. I was never even into the rapture stuff. I'm still not today, and I'm not banking on it. I don't think it's even real. I think it's a whole thing about that, and I haven't on my channel. My belief and my faith is in that I'm going to suffer here, but thank God I have God up with me while I'm doing it. There's no way you're getting away from it.
Choice. I think it's your last time to choose. I think it's your last test. You either choose him or you choose the altar,
Exactly.
And I don't think that you get to just, play along and then you'll get whisked up and away from all the trouble. I think that's your last decision that you have to make.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion.
Exactly. It is. No, it is. I think it is. I think this is our chance. This is it, really. I think after this comes the great white throne judgment. And if you're not written in the Lamb's book of life, you're going to be judged on your works.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
It's not going to be good. And then who's to be said what happens after that with the lake of fire or the refining fire or what God's got in store for those people. But I think he sent his son so that all men should live. I don't know how that works or what that looks like, and it's a mystery to me. But all I know is my commission is to make disciples of men while I can. as much as I possibly can, and the rest
sure.
is up to God. So I'm going to leave it at that. I don't have any means in my way to save people, but I can certainly be a signpost to say it's over there. You need to go over there. That's where the answer is.
Follow this road.
As much as I can. So my hope, I guess I'm a weird creature in the fact that it doesn't get to me like it does a lot of other people. Like the fear, that aspect that people feel when learning these things, I kind of got over it like a decade ago. You know what I mean? I'm in a weird nebulous point now where it's kind of, I've given it over.
Yeah.
And I've come full circle and I'm back to who I was before the fear. I'm back to my normal, jovial, happy self, just with a peace that it took a while to get from going through the whole process. And I would say trust the process as long as you've got God on your side. Like, he'll get you through it and he'll get you to a state where you'll have peace in this world while you suffer. And he never said you won't suffer. He can't stop that, unfortunately, because we live in sin. And as long as there's sin in the world, suffering will be in the world. And that's just it's inescapable. The real question is, what are you going to do in spite of the suffering? What are you going to do to alleviate other people's suffering while you're here and have that chance? Because that's all there is worth doing. That's it. That's a lot in life as fallen people from Eden. Since then, this is what we've got to deal with. Yes, we're redeemed in Christ, but we still live in a sinful world. And we're called to be the salt of the earth, set apart, do the best we can to lead people to the light of Christ and to spread the gospel and the truth, and find our peace and solace in knowing that they may burn you, they may hang you, they may do anything. You look at the stories of the saints and what they did to them. This world, they hated him before they hated you. But at the same time, even in this world, you don't even have to be a Christian to suffer and die a horrible death. This world is just like that. This is the way it is. And it's all we can do is help other people through it while we have a chance. So that's it, really, and that's a hopeful message necessarily. It's all I can get. It's real though.
Yeah. So what have you got that you're working on next? That you're working on now?
Yeah, I'm writing the second book to The Nephilim Look Like Clowns.
Awesome.
So this is volume 1, the history, as you can see here. And volume 2, I'm about 100 pages into it now. I think it's going to be a little bit shorter than this one from what I'm guessing right now.
Yeah.
But the end, this is already 330 pages, but the end goal is to have them in one book, just one solid book.
Yeah.
So that's going to come with some formatting problems. I imagine I have to make the writing a lot smaller to get it to fit into a book or something like this. That's coming. Hopefully, the middle of the year. Then that'll be my work on the Nephilim clowns kind of boxed off, because I couldn't cover everything in one book. Like, I realized I was like 20 chapters in. I've got so much more to say, and it's kind of, I'm just going to release this now as like one book,
800,
and then another.
Book.
Yeah, then another one afterwards. Yeah, but this is 300 pages. This is 380 something pages long, and I'm going to end up writing another 200 and something at this rate. So it's going to be a big one when it's finished. But that's what I'm doing. But on the channel, I am pumping out videos every other day. I do 2 live shows a week on a Wednesday and a Sunday, a live Q&A, and then my podcast on a Sunday. And I collaborate with people like yourself. I do interviews, podcasts with people. So I'm always busy. I'm always doing something. I'm always having these conversations. Right now, my focus really is on tech, AI, the war that's coming, the rise of Christian nationalism as a counter to the extreme liberalism that we've been seeing recently, these cultural shifts, keeping an eye on them and what they're truly all about. Yeah. And I think, again, like I mentioned earlier, I think a lot of this rise of Christian nationalism is actually the Christianity unrestrained from that letter I was telling you about.
Gotcha.
And this sudden swing we're seeing to like Christianity again and traditionalism in the Western world is not organic. It was actually meant to be like this. It's actually, and it's what they're trying to create is like a war-like Christianity now. A Deus Vult, let's go reclaim the Holy Land type of Christianity, and that's what we're getting. And it's for that war I mentioned earlier. It's for that war.
It makes me actually. So it's funny that you bring that up, but it makes me question the way I look at this stuff, and if I am doing it. I mean, I feel like I'm doing it for my heart, but I'm a warrior. I spent my entire double life in the military, and in professions like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I approach everything from a warrior's perspective. So it's a really good point. Just kind of
No,
piqued my...
but I get that drive too. Defend what's yours. You know,
Oh,
what
of
I mean?
course, absolutely. But does it need to be so damn militant? And I'm not saying I'm militant, because I'm not. I'm coming from a place of love. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's good. Thank you.
Put it this way: there's a difference. Look, I empathize with the people who want to go to war with Islam, because currently in the West, extreme Islam, you know, is doing a horrible thing in our countries in many ways. And which again is this version of Islam we have in these countries was also created through the devastation in the Middle East caused by the Western nations.
Yes.
So it's all being and the aggression from the Zionists as well. So it's all kind of
cyclical.
Yeah, it's all become this full circle. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that the ones that are being flooded into our countries aren't doing disgusting, horrible things to our children and the rest of it, you know. So justifiably, we're angry and we want to do something about it and we want to fight. So I get that. I empathize with that. And I think, it's completely justifiable, but bigger picture stuff, you're being played massively. And we have to be wary of that. Our battle is not with flesh and blood at the end of the day. It's Ephesians 6:12 stuff. Like, we're being played on a mass scale here with long-term agendas. And as soon as Christianity does get bloody and fight, they've got us. They've got an example to point to of why Christianity is evil and bad. And look at what these evil white Christians have done. You know, it's kind of that's what they want.
Kill everybody and kill off all these tribes.
Look what your God is doing. Yeah, you're just like back in the Old Testament again. You know what I mean? Yep. Your God hasn't changed, and they've got you as an example. Then, and it's
nobody knows what the hell you're talking about because nobody reads anymore.
Yeah, but imagine if we did do as Christ did. And it's kind of like, Peter, put your sword away, you know, like chill out, don't cut off the ear, you know, like just relax for a second, you know. I think that would have more of an impact on our enemies than shooting them. You can't save somebody you just shot. You can't make a disciple of a man you just shot in the face, you know. It's that's the problem. This is the problem Christians have to really contend with. If you're really genuinely a Christian and you want to be a follower of Christ, and you have to do what he did. And in a way, that's not picking up your gun and going to fight, unfortunately. It's laying down your life and sacrificing it for others, even those who want to kill you. So that's actually, you know, and it from a worldly perspective, it sounds weak. So I get it. Yeah. I get it. But we are not of this world, are we not? This is what we have to say. And we would have more of an impact letting our enemies do this to us and taking our lives while staying true to our faith till the end as martyrs than we would killing other people. And but then it's kind of like, well, I don't get to see the fruits of my labor. You know? I don't get to see and it's kind of this whole idea that I want to live longer in the world, which is kind of an antithesis to what being a Christian is as well. So it's complicated. It's a head thing. It's a psychological thing. And I'm sorry to be the one to have to say this and remind people, but this is kind of what it comes down to in a horrible, scary, against the flesh in every way type of thing. The flesh wants to fight. I get it. I really get it, you know, and justifiably so. But we are being so heavily played here, like in a big way. And it's kind of a lot of these Christians today who are going to go and fight in the name of Christ. I wouldn't say really ever Christians. They're just cultural Christians. Yeah. This is a Christian country, so I'm going to defend it in that name. But they don't actually know Christ. Do you get what I mean? Point. I think a lot of it's going to be that.
I totally understand.
It's different, you know. Yeah,
for sure. I see it. I totally see it. So I could talk to you all night, but I can't. So tell everyone where they can find you again.
Sure. So just go to YouTube, Understanding Conspiracy, and I should come up by now. After 117,000 subscribers, I would hope I come up by now. But sometimes when you type in Understanding Conspiracy, you get loads of videos saying understanding the mind of a conspiracy theorist, how to talk to your friends and family who have got into conspiracies. You know, it's all the anti-conspiracy propaganda usually. But I think I've broke through now, and I finally appear when you search for me. So give that a go.
Just go to the show notes and click on the link section.
Exactly. If you want the book that I wrote, you can go to Amazon, just type in The Nephilim Look Like Clowns. You shouldn't be able to miss that one, hopefully. And if you want to contact me in any way, it's just understandingconspiracy@gmail.com. And I do actually have another channel. You can kind of see his logo down here. called Understanding Creativity, where I get into the art side of corruption and get into a bit of art history, something a bit different. It's like a sister channel, a lot smaller, but it's fun and it's different. And there's some good presentations on there as well. And that's it, really. That's it. So come to YouTube. Oh, yeah. And wherever you get your podcasts, you can find me there.
Wherever
sure.
you listen to your podcasts, right?
Yeah, that's it.
I so appreciate you coming on, especially it's late. It's late there in the UK. So
it's not bad, actually. It's only 10:30. I usually go till midnight.
I guess you're right.
It's okay for me, yeah.
But I appreciate you coming on, and I'm sure we'll talk again.
Absolutely. No, thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I saw the headlines, I heard the noise, 1,000 shadows wearing human voices. Everybody selling fear like it's gold. Everybody talking loud, nobody knows. I walked the back roads of doubt and smoke, chased every sign till my spirit broke. Found out quick what the dark world is. Don't mind your pain, it just feeds on it. But truth ain't panic, truth ain't pride. Truth is a fire that survives the night. When the veil gets thin and the lights pour in, when the world goes loud and your faith wears thin, hold the line, don't let the dark decide. There's a king still reigning on the other side. When the fear comes fast and the lights go dim, I won't bow down, I won't give in. I've seen enough to know who wins. When the veil gets thin. When the veil gets thin. They build new towers out of code and glass. New false prophets talking way too fast. Promises glowing in a machine-made face, but none of that noise can replace His grace. Wars in the distance, wars in the home. People so lost, but they still call it growth. Everybody's searching for a God they can bend, but truth has a name and it won't pretend. And no, hope ain't fragile. Hope don't hide. Hope is a nail-scarred hand in the night. When the veil gets thin and the lights pour in, when the world goes loud and your faith wears thin, hold the line, don't let the dark decide. There's a king still reigning on the other side. When the fear comes fast and the lights go dim, I won't bow down, I won't give in. I've seen enough to know who wins. When the veil gets thin, not every voice deserves your trust. Not every sign is from above. Not every door was made to open. Not every wound means you are broken. Stand in the storm, but don't become it. Speak the truth, but don't outrun it. Love your enemies, bear the weight. The narrow road was never safe. When the veil gets